This is going to be Lower Blackrock Spire as a fire mage. Always a super cool dungeon, so I was happy to have another run on it. Somebody had the, oh, what's that thing called? Grand Expedition Yak? Yep, I saw those two vendors come off of that thing. Alright, so we got Paladin Tank. Bunch of Opera here. Everybody likes the foxes. People checking their maps and stuff. That looks like a holy priest. Yeah, definitely a holy priest. Alright, so that's the healer. I didn't check the other two. I see a hunter and a warrior. Okay. So yeah, big long dungeon, but always a great time. Some really kind of weird stuff happens during this run. This is an interesting one. I know what I'm doing a little better because I've already been here as a healer, and I came back here a time or two on my own just to be sure I really knew the route and mechanics, because it's real complicated. But it's just a cool place to hang out. I'm so glad this is still in the game intact, unlike Blackrock Depths, which is also spectacular but was chopped up. This one was not. Let's see, has anything changed with me notably? No. Last run I showed was not too long before this one, I think. Got Combustion there, already talked about that. Rune of Power, Shimmer, Dragon's Breath, all the tools. Yep. Yeah, so my toolkit doesn't change tremendously from this. This is most of what a fire mage does, it seems. Well, I hit my 6 key going for 7. Whoops. That happens sometimes. I'm the leader of the group. I think I entered this, I checked the box to say I'm an experienced player and I'm comfortable guiding people through this dungeon. Because I knew my way around here. Not that whoever's the leader of the group really means anything in it. What was that? Why did I have a parachute for a moment? I don't know what that was. Anyway, yeah, not that group leader really means much of anything. You don't get the power to, like, remove group members or anything like you do when you formed your own group in a random dungeon group. Honestly, I don't think a dungeon guide gets any special privileges. They just have a mark that says, hey, you're the leader, so you're the one who should know what you're doing. So I have that little green flag on my character frame. Maybe it does do something. If it does something, I don't know about it. I'm pretty sure if nobody checks that box when they queue up for the dungeon, it just assigns it to a random party member, because you always have a dungeon guide who is sort of the party leader. But yeah, if you check that box and nobody else does, then you're going to be the leader. Alright, so I'm watching closely because there's a thing I want to pick up on the left here for an optional boss later. But something weird's about to happen. We have a hunter in the party. I do not currently see the hunter's pet, and I think that is... Oh no, I do. That little fox there. Fox has a fox pet, of course. So a whole bunch of trolls are going to come out of nowhere in a moment. There's a thing that can happen where any class that has a pet that follows them can do some weird things with pathfinding sometimes, like if you jump off a ledge, the pet will decide to run through a different route in the dungeon and get the attention of a whole bunch of enemies all over the place. Something like that, or something else weird, happened here. I thought it would have happened already, but it hasn't yet. Also, the route we go through in this dungeon is a little bit strange. Yeah, here they come. Hey, look, some trolls. Hey, look, a whole lot of trolls. So this is weird. This doesn't normally happen in this spot. And this is a little too much. Yeah, he got hexed. Healer is getting overwhelmed. Everybody's getting overwhelmed. We're definitely gonna die here. That was Cauterize, yep. I talked about that when I was in Escape from Dinnerholds. So I was saved from death because of that. Healer's trying hard, but there's only so much you can really do. Alright, so a weird thing happened. And I am wondering what was up with that. Nobody knows, though. Yeah, my theory is Hunter Pet managed to do something somehow, but how would his pet have ended up all the way down in... what's that place called? Tazalor, I think? The little tiny troll village underneath here. And got all the trolls' attention somehow. Something did. Apparently there are some abilities in this game that can, like, accidentally hit things through the floor or ceiling. Maybe one of those went off and caused a problem. Could have been any number of things. Now it happens again. We end up having to fight our way through those trolls. Ink. Incoming. Yeah, here they are. I don't know if they hung around after that or if the exact same circumstance, whatever it was, made them come back. Everybody seemed ready for that. They were all waiting for the trolls to arrive. Somehow, yeah. How exactly is that? I managed to type that while one of my spells was casting, so there was no downtime from sending the message. So I liked the vibe I was getting from this group. Everybody's just kind of bewildered at what happened here, but nobody's, you know, we have no complainers here. Just people who are here for the experience and surprised at the unexpected happening. It's pretty cool. I'm trying to kill a runner here. Scorch wasn't doing it. And I got interrupted. How annoying. But being fire-locked doesn't mean I can't use my own counterspell, so I interrupted someone right back for it. Well, the runner got away. He'll be back. There he is. Mage is not the greatest at cleaning up runners, just because of cast times and lines of sight and stuff. Something like a hunter's better at that. Alright, so it looks like we survived that encounter. Priest used most of their mana bar. I'm trying to encourage people to go this way, but nobody's paying attention to my mark on the map, or maybe they think I'm just marking down below. Even as Dungeon Guide, you know, I'm not going to be too forceful about, like, hey, we have to go this way. I'm mostly just happy to go with the flow of the group. So if we skip, oh boy, what's that guy's name? Not High Lord Omok, the other ogre. I think it's not High Lord Omok. High Lord Omok is the one you can... Let's see, it's Urok and Omok. It's one of the two. Anyway, The ogre whose head you get to summon the other ogre later. Alright, so Shadow Hunter Voshkajen is up here. She does nasty hexes. Watch out for being turned into a frog. I'm going to be watching the enemy nameplates very closely. If I see a hex, I'm going to change target and immediately counterspell that hex. So I'm saving up my counterspell for that. Not going to interrupt something like a chain heal, because hex is the important one. Let's see if I can snipe one here. Doesn't look like any happened, so that's good. And also just staying far away means you're out of range of her group hex, because she does it to the whole party if you're too close. But that one can also be interrupted. Interrupt. There we go. Got her. So Counterspell has a cooldown on it. I'm not sure if she'll hex again before that cooldown is up. She might. Other party members who are prepared might also be able to pitch in if I'm not able to counterspell it. But since I can, I try to. Got it. Nice. Interrupting spells is one of the most satisfying things. Like, playing a damage dealer role can be a little bit repetitive sometimes, but like when I have to do interrupts, that's probably the part of being in this particular role that I enjoy the most. Just because of the control it gives me that, I don't know, just feels really good to pull off one of those when you pull it off. Because I can't really feel my damage happening on the thing I'm targeting because there are 3 to 4 other people, depending on whether the healer's participating, who, oh, somebody left. Okay. We lost... Oh, the priest. Okay. By the way, up in that room, there's a skip that people try to do in this dungeon sometimes. You can jump up on a candle, then jump over the wall, and go ahead to another part of the dungeon. I had an earlier run with this character in this dungeon that I tried to record that fell apart after attempting that skip. Just because people didn't know how to handle it, and, you know, it just makes a big mess. Puts you in this weird place in the dungeon with enemies on both sides. Theoretically, it could save time, but, I was trying to figure out where War Master Voon is. He's down here somewhere. Theoretically, it could save time, but I would not recommend ever doing it, and I'm going to actively discourage any future group I'm in here from attempting it, just because I've seen it cause so many problems. When I come here as a tank, I'm just going to straight up refuse to do it. It is a bad idea. But some people still try to do it for some reason. But that didn't happen this run, fortunately, so... just on one that fell apart that I'm not showing here. So we're doing okay without a healer here. Tank is a paladin. He can cast some healing spells on himself. He's also a Zandalari troll, so he can regenerate to 100% of his health every now and then. So as long as we're not fighting any bosses or any, like, huge packs of monsters, things will be fine. This particular dungeon it seems like it tends to take a long time to get any group members here, just because it's very late in the classic dungeons. I think this one might have the highest minimum level requirement. Like a very narrow range of levels can come here. Hold on, but I'm level 54? Perhaps 54 is the... okay, so we got a shaman. Neat. Perhaps 54 is the minimum, but it seems like it tends to be that people will level to the point where they can queue for Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King dungeons, and just ignore the last few classic dungeons, perhaps also just because this is so large and confusing. I suspect at least some players would actively avoid it because of that. But that's kind of why I like it. It's large and confusing and spectacular. The confusion is part of the fun. So yeah, like, normally it would not take that long to get a healer, usually. But that time it did. Yeah, so the reason I was trying to figure out where this dude was because I'm here as the dungeon guide and want to, you know, do my job and know exactly which direction to go. I couldn't quite remember which way you were supposed to turn after you went down those stairs. It's marked on the map by the big blue circles, though, so you can see, since we have a quest to kill him. Yeah, it shows us where to go. The map is not the most useful thing in this dungeon, though. It's very vertical, like, most of this is all sort of stacked on top of itself in a big vertical shaft, and when you open the map it doesn't always show the right layer. I don't know, it's weird. I actually just find it easier to navigate in here without looking at the map, just by my environments and remember my surroundings, and remembering which way to turn when you see what. So I think we want to go across here, yeah, across here, over there, toward the Skitterweb tunnels. Hold on, Urok Doomhowl. Bonus objectives, down there. Okay, it's High Lord Omok in the cave that we skipped back there. Urok Doomhowl is the other ogre you can summon with Omok's head, that's how it is. They sound too similar. It's hard to keep track of which is which. Curse of the Firebrand. I can fix that, because I can get rid of curses. Right, if it shows up on his party frame, then I can dispel it, because it only shows debuffs there that I can actually do something about, I think. So I'm used to seeing those when I'm playing healer, but even as a mage, I can still do a little bit of that. I think a shaman might be able to remove curses. There's some healer who can. Not paladin or monk, but possibly shaman? Also not sure about priest. Or druid. I don't know. Somebody can do it, other than mage. If a shaman can, this particular one chose not to. Okay, right, so he had to step away for a moment. So I just go to sleep. Alright, 3 minutes later, he comes back. Somebody left. Okay, we lost the warrior. Alright. Funny how he left right as the tank came back, rather than leaving before waiting 3 minutes for him to return. What weird timing. So we got a Nightborn of some sort. What is he? Is that a warlock? Yes, that's a warlock. Okay, so we got one of those. I think that might be the last party change that happens here, but I'm not sure. I'm watching for the curse now. So these enemies are surprisingly dangerous. You don't want to get more than one group of them at a time, typically, because they can mess you up. They don't look particularly more threatening than anything else, but yeah, the firebrand, whatever's, firebrand orcs, not to be messed with. So if you jump on the candle and out of Shadowhunter Voshkajin's window, you end up pretty much right in this spot. Right between two big groups of Firebrand orcs, who are pretty serious, in front of the Skitterweb tunnels. Like with a perfectly coordinated group who doesn't need to kill Warmaster Voon and wants to, you know, set a speed record in this dungeon or something, I guess that'd be appropriate. But I just think that, like, in any random Dungeon Finder group, it just seems like a terrible idea, because I've seen it go wrong most of the time when it's happened. It's kind of hard to pull off, too. Like, jumping on the candle and then out the window is clearly not meant to be done. I've learned to do it, but other people in the party always have a little bit of trouble just, like, actually making the jump. Alright, Firebrand section done. Now for Skitterweb. Spiders. You don't need to fight those. And we don't. So these spiders drop immature venom sacs. I had forgotten about those last time I was here. I think I'm going to actually use one this time. It is a useful item you want to pay attention to. So Mother Smolderweb here does a thing to watch for. There it is. So I have a poison... Oh hey, I used invisibility, because she was targeting me way too much. I wanted her to forget about me, and she did. I'm not paying attention to the venom sac like I thought I was gonna. I wonder if she switches targets when she crystallizes or what? Why is this happening? I can't be doing so much damage as to be out-threading the tank here. I don't know. For some reason, she just really doesn't like me. There we go. Protects the brood against mother's milk, something something. That's what that poison is called. I can use it out of my inventory to get rid of that poison. However, the shaman can also just remove it. Let's see, I think it's priests who cannot remove poison? Something like that. I vaguely remember not being able to deal with poison when I was playing a priest. Hey, look, a new trinket. That's nice. I think this character might, at this point, still be using that trinket many levels later. Trinkets are not something you get a whole lot of. They're hard to come by. Alright, so coming up on the ogre place here. So this is where there's the tribute pile where you can summon Urok Doomhowl. Pile of skulls right there behind the ogres are fighting. I don't have either of the items for that because we did not fight High Lord Omok on the way here. Otherwise, I'd be starting it now. Oh, I do have... Okay, this must have been from the last run that went wrong. No one knew I was doing that because I didn't say anything, though. So we just have some ogres to fight. It kind of worked out. However, it kind of also doesn't. Because for some reason Urok does not show up. I think you have to defend the pile of skulls from the incoming ogres. Hey, I leveled up. And perhaps we failed to defend stuff? Yeah, okay, that ogre there just appeared, charged in, and destroyed the challenge to Urok. So that's a way that you can fail to actually summon him. Yeah, those dudes there. Got rid of my head on a pike that I put there. And the pile of skulls is also gone. I hadn't noticed at this point. So yeah, I had the roughshod pike and Omok's head from the previous run that fell apart at this candle skip. This is relevant. I'm looking to see if Urok's going to show up. He did not. Hardcasting Flame Strike here because, like, after my Dragon's Breath has gone off, my on-demand multi-target damage is not super great. One thing I've figured out since then is I can do 2 Fire Blasts, if I have at least 2 charges available, to instantly get a hot streak to do a Flame Strike. It feels a little wasteful on the Fire Blasts, because I'd rather use them to turn heating up into a hot streak from using a Fireball. But if I need, in a situation like that, it would be the right action to do. Because I'm not going to get enough fireballs off to land a critical strike and then be able to heat that up. I just need the flame strike immediately. So right, the 2 giant wolves here. He'll notice. And go back for them. There we go. I could have put like a skull icon on Helicon here, but apparently I didn't. Didn't think to do that. Again, I'm not going to be too bossy here. Like, you know, if people don't want to fight this boss, then they don't have to. reciprocating hug up and things like that can bring down the mood of the group. Gizral Slavener shows up as soon as she's gone. Also, isn't Quartermaster Zigris up that hallway straight ahead, not the one to the left that leads to the end of the dungeon? I think that's right. Or maybe the one to the left leads to him and the one straight ahead leads to the end of the dungeon. It's hard to tell which way around it is. It's one of those two. I think the Quartermaster is up the stairs ahead. Yeah, this is totally the way to the end. Okay, so we might not be fighting him? Unless we end up going back. So where is it that a thing happens? It's about to happen. I think it's right about here. We find an unconventional route through this dungeon. I'm noticing that the Paladin and Shaman are down below somewhere. They've fallen in that hole. So if the healer and tank are down there, then I need to follow. So this is where High Lord Omak is. Just showing how vertically stacked all this stuff is. You can jump right down there at that spot and get to this stuff. I think perhaps what happened here was Hellhound saw that there was an unkilled boss right below, figured we could hop down and kill him real quick, then get back up to where we were. However, I happen to know there's no going back up from here. You have to go through the rest of the dungeon to get back to where we just were. So this fall has set us back almost to the beginning. However, it's fine. Like, I wanted to kill High Lord Omak anyway. And in doing this, I'm hoping that it gives us a second chance at Uruk Doomhowl. Because I used my one Omak's head, but this Omak will have another head for me. And if I can just get my hands on a roughshod pike, then I can create another challenge. This guy has some health. Everybody's found their way to us now, right? I think so. Alright, so I got his head. Those are the dudes we would have fought on the way in if we'd gone in the conventional way. I'm kind of wondering at this point if Hellhound knows what he's done. I think he just figured it out. Okay, so I didn't pick up another roughshod pike. They were guarded by enemies and I didn't want to start an encounter there. However, it doesn't end up mattering. Here's where you do the candle skip, by the way. Are we going to do it? That's how you do it. Get on that thing, jump up here. Okay, so I guess we do get to demonstrate this. Yeah, this is normally what it looks like. It's not super easy to do. I go back down to demonstrate again. Oh, but he's gotten it. There we go. So jump down onto that beam, down here, and then you're in the spiderweb tunnels. So that's how that works. People speaking Portuguese, I think that is. Yep. So yeah, Azerlan is a, and I think Tolbarat are both Latin American realms. Gallywix might also be? Anyway, yeah, so these people have just figured out they can speak this language with each other, which is nice to see. Suddenly they get real friendly with each other. I'm not in on whatever they're saying. Neither is Karadi, possibly. I don't know what kind of realm Silvermoon is. But yeah, they get real chatty for a moment here. Yeah, so I look for the tribute pile and it's just gone. So it was definitely destroyed by those 3 ogres who were spawned after the first wave we had been busy fighting over in the area up here. So even if I had gotten my hands on another roughshod pike, I couldn't have placed another challenge to him. So he had to place that thing down and then defend it from, I think, 2 waves of ogres before the optional boss will actually appear. So it has to be done very intentionally. Can't really just kind of snipe it from the distance like I was trying to do while the rest of the party is not, like, specifically trying to do that. So yeah, best if the party leader i.e. the tank, would be the one to initiate that activity. Or if somebody else wants to do it, you know, communicate, I guess. Okay, yeah, so now we're up here to fight Quartermaster Zigris. I thought we had killed him on this run. We do. There he is. Just took us a little while to get there. He gets one of these silver nameplates. I was noticing there were a couple of ogres in Omok's area that had those. I'm not sure why, but they did. Usually that means they're a rare spawn and will drop some kind of equipment reliably that you might want. Oh man, somebody got a 6 of Warlords, one of those Darkmoon Fair cards. Those are incredibly rare. I've only seen like 3 or 4 drop in my lifetime, I think. You're supposed to collect enough to put together like an entire deck of them. I sure have not seen what it looks like when you do that because the drop rate is so low. I guess maybe you're supposed to like trade them on the auction house or something, but I don't know. I don't want to participate in the auction house too much. So maybe if I keep playing this game for enough years, I'll eventually get a deck together. I think they might only drop in classic dungeons. I wouldn't know. The drop rate's so low, it's hard to know for sure. Alright, so we're past the place where we fell down. Back up here. Almost at the end of the dungeon. I think this still goes on for a bit. I just love the vibe of these 3 people speaking Portuguese here. They're just so friendly with each other suddenly. Everybody was quiet for the longest time, but now they're super chatty. Just having a great time. Chamber of Battle. This is the last room, right? Overlord Wormthalok is right up this hill, I think. Unless there's like another section that I'm forgetting about here. I think we're very close to done here. Yeah, this is the spot. Okay. End of dungeon here. Using all my stuff. He cries for help. Help comes from the direction of where I'm standing, so I don't want to stay here for too long. I kind of want to move up there behind where he is right now, but I've just put down a Rune of Power, so I guess I'm holding my position for the moment. Watching behind me. Healer needs to move. She did. Well, that's one way to do it. Oh, that polymorph actually works. A lot of K's being typed for some reason. I want to make sure people see that there was a polymorphed ogre there, so I wanted to engage him in combat as soon as I could. Because he won't stay a sheep forever. Gotta deal with him eventually. Alright, dungeon done! Yeah! Good dungeon. This was an excellent run. Some weird stuff happened, but that was part of the fun. Whoa. That's where I was, apparently. In the middle of the air. Alright, yeah, this place. Always such a good time. Well, when people don't ruin it by candle skipping and then the group falls apart. You know, it's a good time when it's good. And this was good. See you next time.